Because we thought we scored the third. We thought we got a penalty for the 3-0. Both situations were correctly handled by the referee. And then we conceded quite fast afterwards the 2-1, and then there was 20-25 minutes to be played. They got into the game better and better. We got worse and worse. So we had to show mentality, and that's what we did. That's why we brought this win over the line.
I definitely give them credit the way they went 1v1 most of the times, all on the pitch. At times we were sloppy as well. We couldn't hold the ball as good as we normally do. But what was good, and obviously I'm looking at my own team, is that we kept fighting and making sure that we keep the 3 points here, and that's what we did.
We need to believe, if you can come here to play like we did against this unbelievable club, they are the first of the league, and then we show everyone we can beat them in the second half, of course. But the game is not only 45 minutes.
Liverpool didn't have a single shot in the second half of the game, and I'm told that hasn't happened for 8 years. That's a pretty incredible statistic.
You know why? Because Wolverhampton wake up in half-time and went in the game without afraid to play, take the risks, play with courage. I want to put my team playing like I saw in the second half.
Do you believe that Ibrahima Konate should have been sent off?
Yes, I don't want to speak about it, but in my opinion, the second yellow card must be shown.
The first yellow he got was a soft one, in my opinion. If he would have gotten the second one, he wouldn't have got 2 very soft yellow cards. You cannot play with a centre-back for 45 minutes against a strong team like Wolves, with him not being able to make one single foul, so that's why I had to take him off.
We'll look at whether it should have been a second yellow card in a little while. But it actually turned out to be quite a tough afternoon, that, for Liverpool, didn't it? Which you weren't really expecting maybe at half-time.
Yeah, maybe not. But I think when you're in this situation and you're going for the league, there's times when you're not going to play well. It's just about getting over the line. I remember when I was going for the league and you're looking at the players around you, whether it be Aguero or Tevez, just to have one of those moments to see us through. I think Liverpool, when they was attacking, they got the goals when they needed to, and then at the end, there was a really good challenge, which we're going to look at a little bit later, but it's just getting through. You can't always play to the best of your abilities. It's just about picking up points when you can.
I'll just pick up those names that you dropped. Virgil van Dijk mentioned it in that interview. He talked about Wolves being brave and wanting to go one-on-one, which they did the whole game, but in the first half, they just kept letting Liverpool out.
Yeah, I think you've got to give a lot of credit to Wolves today. They made the game entertaining. They was better in the second half, like they said. And they was brave. They was very brave to go there and try and press. They just didn't have the right balance in their press today, as we're going to see now. So they was trying to get high up the pitch, but what they ended up doing was leaving the back three of Doherty, Agbadou and Tati Gomez isolated. So now there's 2v2, and these are like 3 of the best attackers in the world. So as the ball gets played, it's actually a bad touch by Salah, and then Diaz just continues his run to opening the scoring for Liverpool. But Wolves kept after it. They kept trying to play through the lines, as we see here, but they lose it. Their initial thought is to try and get after it again, but it's so difficult because Liverpool, especially when they had Diaz on the pitch, were really good in this break. As we've seen them for years now, it takes some really good last-ditch defending for Wolves there to clear it up. Liverpool play out from the back. Wolves want to press again. They actually win this one, but as it's picked up and helped on, we've just highlighted there, Diaz is a great run, and we'll see the little nudge there, and he actually wins the penalty. And it's difficult if you're Agbadou in that position there. I don't think that it was enough for a foul, but the penalty is definitely a penalty from Jose Sarr, and Salah goes on and scores.
So you understand that not being pulled back for the...
Yeah, for the nudge on Agbadou, I don't think it's enough. But it's difficult. I've been there, you've probably been there as a centre-back. You're not expecting the contact. When it comes, you're a little bit off balance. But credit to Wolves after that first half for picking themselves up.
Brave though, weren't they? Even in the first half. I'm going to show you the second half as well, but in that first half, they were still brave, engaging. They just got a little bit exposed on that transition, didn't they?
Yeah, and Liverpool, and that's partly down to Liverpool as well, because Liverpool were really good in exposing the Wolves back three, but they didn't really have any cover, and there was man for man, which is difficult against Liverpool.
But then Wolves made Liverpool suffer in that second half. We heard Steve say in commentary, they didn't have a shot in the second half, Liverpool, and Wolves kept them in.
Yeah, they applied that pressure, did exactly what they did in the first half, but to a greater effect, and they brought on Manazzi and Bellegarde, and they just made a real difference. I think in terms of the pressing, it was a little bit better. There was a bit more organised, know exactly what they needed to do, and then it was about engaging at the right time. And when you've got these players who come on the pitch, it was interesting with Manatsi. He's normally a defensive midfielder, but he come on as like the lead man playing that number 9 role, and Cunha was getting involved too. Here, he gets another opportunity, lovely flip round the corner, 1v1 versus Alisson. He's one of the best at that, you know, one-on-one saves there. And again, this is just the goal here. They managed to get the ball back, and then Bellegarde gets on the ball, but one man for Wolves who keeps showing up week in, week out is that man, Cunha, who we've just highlighted there. Once he gets into these positions here, has he got the trickery, has he got the feet, and has he got the finish? Yes, he has. And just the last clip here, this is the difference. I mentioned moments before, Chappers, and these are the moments here. Had it been a striker in that position, he might have made it 2-2. And Wolves deserve so much credit for the way they applied themselves today. On another day, they might have got a draw, but look at that for a tackle, which one I look at again.
Well, and just before we do, but that's the kind of performance that we know Wolves are down there and in that relegation battle. That's the kind of performance you can then build on.
Yeah, but I thought I watched Wolves against Blackburn, the FA Cup. I thought they was really good as well. I think when you come up against great opposition, sometimes it's difficult. But the difference between the teams that are lower, Cunha is a top 6 in any league in world football, in my opinion. So when you've got him to count on, you're always going to have a chance of, you know, getting out of the little bit of the rut that they're on.
Both of you, take us through that tackle again, because he's had a bit of a tricky season as Quansah, hasn't he?
And he finds himself in a difficult position because his fullback Robertson's played Manetzi on side, but that is the type of defending that you don't see that much anymore. I think, you know, just being out of position and really having to sprint and make a tackle. I think it goes with the opposite leg. So that's as good as a goal for me.
Yeah, I agreed. I think when you're going for the Premier League, it's all about moments, isn't it?
That is it. That could be one of those moments where if they go on and win it, they'll get...
He's had an impact. He's had impact. And it was difficult. He started the season, he got subbed at half-time. I think Slot said he wasn't aggressive enough, but today he showed how vital he can be to this team.
Got brought on at half-time today because Konate was brought off at half-time because Slot didn't want him on a yellow card for the whole of the second half. Was he lucky to still be on?
Listen, yeah, maybe, but I don't think this is a yellow card. It looks worse on that angle. But as you see, he's trying to make up the ground, Konate. He's just looking at the ball. And yes, it's a foul. I think it's a foul, but I don't think it's a second yellow.
In slow motion, it looks worse. I don't think it's a second yellow. I don't think you can be sending people off for that.
And as we often hammer VAR when things maybe don't go to plan, we praise it for the penalty that it overruled.
They should get some praise, because I think this, and initially when we all saw it, we thought it was a penalty. It goes sliding in, but I mean on the next angle, you see Jota flings his left leg into him straight away there, and yeah, it's not a penalty, and he's lucky. He should be getting a yellow card for that, I think.
Yeah, I think his touch has just taken it a little bit away from him, and he knows that, and he can't shoot, and he's felt like
he's trying to feel the contact.
Yeah, like he's trying
to do.
Yeah, he thinks it's coming, but it never actually comes, and it just is a dive.
When we look at Liverpool's lead, and you could put this into historical context, and you know, Liverpool fans are probably thinking, "God, why do you want to show this? This is ridiculous." Only Newcastle, with similar leads after 25 Premier League games, have lost the title.
I mean, the odds are in their favour. I think, with the squad that Liverpool have, I think give them confidence. I think, bar any massive injuries at this stage of the season, they should be bringing it home.
OK, they've got a big week, though, haven't they? The Aston Villa game is played this week because that is on the League Cup final weekend. Then it's Manchester City away, and then it's a midweek game at home to Newcastle.
Yeah.
They're 3 testing fixtures. We'll probably know more about their lead and their title credentials after that, won't we?
Yeah, if they get through those next 3 games positively, whether that's 3 wins, 2 wins and a draw.
Positive.
Yeah. however it looks. But I think then you can almost say, OK, you've got the title now.
Yeah, I'd agree with Ashley on that.
If they go to City and win, is it?
Why are you trying to do that? Let's just wait.
Next up, Tottenham against Man.
Especially after what happened Wednesday. And those last 8 minutes, and especially of course the last minute where we conceded a goal, you are so frustrated because I knew, you know, that is not only that moment. That moment can also have impact for the next game or for the games that are coming up. And I think you saw today after us conceding the 2-1 that maybe for the first time this season we were a bit like, ooh. After conceding in the last minute against Everton, I think that was in our heads a bit. And that's also why we as a team were so furious Wednesday.
Just too nervous for Arne, haven't you? Stop that, and it's a long way to go and see and explain the stadium from everywhere.
Sorry?
The nerves seem too much in the second half.
No, I don't think the nerves were too much. I think it had also to do with how Wolves came out, and Wednesday we showed immense mentality in the most difficult circumstances we faced this season. And then going 2-1 up and then playing the last 15-20 minutes the way we played, with all the things that happened in those 15 to 20 minutes, and then to come out with a draw, that was very, very, very hard to take. And then today 2-0 up, we had to deal with thinking we scored a 3-0. Completely correct decision that he disallowed it for offside. Thinking we're going to score the 3-0 with a penalty on Mo. Again, in my opinion, a correct decision for the VAR to turn that decision over. And then immediately receiving the 2-1. Yeah, that is mentally not always easy. And that's why these wins are probably even more important than when you outplay Tottenham like we did here 2 weeks ago with 4-0. It's so difficult to win a game of football. People always feel like, you've got Mo Salah, what are you talking about? He will always score for you a goal. And no. It's so difficult to win a game of football every 3 days after everything you go through in a season. So that's why this win is an important one going into a very tough week where we hope we can show the same mentality again in both teams, but play a bit better on the ball. That's clear.
Did you take Arne off at half time because you were worried about him getting sent off? And is there any update on Gakpo?
Yes, I took him off because of that. Because I saw him getting his first yellow. That was for me a soft yellow. If he would have gotten the second one for a shoulder push, that would have been a soft yellow. So then he would have been sent off by 2 soft yellows. I think the referee felt the same. That's why he didn't. But I've watched football so many times in my life, and I know that a player and the referee is then under pressure. So every next foul will lead again to maybe a referee that thinks, maybe I should give him. I think back on 3 days ago. But for Ibu it's so difficult to play 45 minutes of football against a strong Wolves team. So I had to take him off because you can't play football knowing in your head you can make a foul and playing against such good players as Wolves have. And Cody didn't have a yellow card or whatever. Yeah, he got a knock in the Everton game. A few of us got a knock, but he got an injury from that. That wasn't a joke. It was just.
Will he be okay for Wednesday? Or?
Under debate. It's fast Wednesday already, so let's wait and see. It wasn't a soft knock then.
It's been a bit of a tricky season for Jarell Quansah at times. It's been hard maybe to get up to the levels of last season, but what did you make of them in the second half today? Obviously a massive moment for him making that block late on as well.
Yeah. I think all the boys showed great character, great mentality in the second half, but I think everybody has seen recently already, because he's played a few games recently, that he did really well, and I see in training sessions that he is back to being the same Jarell as he was in pre-season. I think he had a bit of a hard time after being taken off at Ipswich, and then the first 2 or 3 games after that when he came in, well, he was also in a bit of a struggle. but he's just showing now what he's shown in the last two or 3 months on the training pitch, but also when he comes in, that he's back to his old level, and then you can see how important he is. Again, today you saw how vital players like Jurel and Bata also are for this team, because if you want to achieve something, of course you need the goals from Mo or from Lucio or from all the others, but you also need these players that if you depend on them, that they bring up performances like this.
13 games to go. How are you dealing with the pressure, the expectancy? Can you enjoy a game like that when there's so much riding on it?
For a large part, I enjoyed the game, but I didn't enjoy the last 20-25 minutes. But I do enjoy that part of my job, because it's the same for the players. Of course, we all like to bring the ball out from the back from great combinations leading towards the most beautiful goals. But as players sometimes have to fight. As a manager, you sometimes have to be pragmatic as well and understand, okay, this is probably not our game in terms of football. Then we as a coaching staff have to be ready to make decisions that help the team in those moments. That's what we try to do. We're bringing a type of player like Wata in, bringing Dom Soboslai to the left wing to neutralize that threat there as well. So it's enjoyable this as well, but I prefer the one where I see Micah playing one triangle after another, leading to chance after chance.
You could have another 13 finishes like that.
Sorry?
You could have another 13 finishes maybe like that?
I think in the season, I don't know if I said it here, but in the season, when the boys came in, I felt they were a bit down maybe, a bit like, wasn't our best performance. That probably tells you also how well we've played during the season, that we weren't even that happy with this win. And I said to them, listen, this win is maybe even a bigger accomplishment than outplaying Tottenham here with 4-0. Because in a season where you want to achieve something, no matter what you want to achieve, but if you want to achieve something in a season, you need to play good football. That's the basis of success. But if you don't have the mentality to win difficult games, then you will never achieve something. That's why I was so disappointed for the players and so frustrated when I was in the dressing room after the game when we played Everton. The boys did so well, fought so hard, and deserved, in my opinion, to go away there with 2-1, not in terms of football, but in terms of mentality. But we didn't get that one, and now we got it today.
The last one.
I think after Wednesday there was a little bit of mental fatigue, maybe especially in the second half. Now, do you ensure that in the last few months that, you know, the team don't get fatigued and kind of refreshed every game with how hectic the fixture schedule's going to be?
I think the question is how I deal with if they get fatigued.
Yeah, how are you going to deal with that? Because did they look a little bit leggy, do you think, in that second half after mentally after Wednesday night on, which is what happened?
Yeah, but I never judge a situation on 20 minutes. So Wednesday evening I saw a team fighting till the last second, pressing, working, being so fit. I want to take into account these players are not tired, not at all. They are able to play every 3 days in the highest intensity. But you have to take the mental part of the game into the occasion as well. All the events that happened Wednesday evening, it's not only working hard, what did it do to us mentally as well, these last 8 minutes of injury time. I can even tell you what it did to me mentally, so let alone what it did for these players that had to run so much. So then if you come into this game, and again, things go against you, not again things go against you, but with the disallowed goal and the penalty, both correct decisions, and them scoring, it asks a lot from your mentality if you are indeed maybe a bit more tired. But these players are able to be Wednesday all on it again, and Sunday as well.